What's going on, guys? Antonio here. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up for me, and let's get into it. All right, we're on Rotten Tomatoes, and as you can see here, this is the page for Star Trek Section 31. Now, that just dropped on Paramount Plus, so if you have Paramount Plus, you can stream that. I did over the weekend. I watched it, and I have to be honest, this is one of those rare cases where the critics and the viewers actually agree. As you can see here on the tomato meter has it out of 38 critic reviews, 21% favorable, so it's rotten there. And the popcorn-o-meter is at 17%, and that has over 1,000 reviews. And I review stuff on Rotten Tomatoes as well. I have to be honest, this was poor. I was really disappointed by what I saw. They definitely had a budget, though. I can't say that the show looked cheap. I thought the story got weird and it didn't go anywhere. And here's the other thing I would say. It seemed like when they first pitched the Section 31 thing, and it was like 4 or 5 years ago. Matter of fact, I thought I did a video on that years and years ago, that they were planning on doing a spinoff because they had Star Trek Picard and, the last season of Picard, I think it was the 3rd season. A lot of people, obviously, they brought all the original Next Generation people back. They've had a few seasons of Discovery before that went off the air. And here's the thing, Star Trek fandom has been split because Discovery was very polarizing, and they were like, oh, okay, you got all these DEI people in here. They make sure there's a black woman that's kind of butch and she's in the captain's chair, or she gets ascended to the captain's chair. They make sure they have LGBTQ plus representation. Everywhere you look, it's like Oprah, you get a minority. So a lot of people were upset. Now, obviously, I'm a black man, so seeing other black people on the screen, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But here's the thing I also say, and I say this with Star Wars or any of these other franchises, the story has got to be good. And I was really hoping that Section 31 was going to be that. You got Michelle Yeoh. She's coming off her Oscar. She just won an Oscar for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. She was fantastic in that. We have Omari Hardwick, who was Ghost in the Power franchise that airs on Stars. So, and Power was one of my favorite shows. And Omari's been kind of going through a fluctuation. I've done some videos on him because he's come out and said things regarding how he felt like he was treated at Stars, and 50 Cent and Courtney A. Kemp, the creators of Power, felt like he wasn't getting paid, even though Stars is the highest viewed franchise on their network. It's even getting more viewers than Outlander, although now that, Outlander just wrapped up its season and it broke records again. But it's like Power and Outlander, if you watch Stars, they go back and forth. So when Power comes back, Raising Kanan is about to come back on March 7th. It'll get a bump and it'll be the most viewed show again. But Omari Hardwick, who played Ghost on Power, I love him. And I got to be honest, when I heard he was in it, I was excited. I was like, oh, wow, he's going to be in the Star Trek. And I was just like, but I still love Omari. But yeah, this wasn't it. And what's the guy from, if anybody watched Veep, there's a guy, Sam Richardson, that was on Veep. He's in this. There's a lot of different new characters that we haven't seen in Star Trek in the universe before. They've only been hinted at. The whole thing with Philippa Georgiou and the Mirror Universe and the whole deal, it's good, but I'm going to be honest, I feel like that well is run dry. They keep going back. And I noticed that with Star Trek Enterprise. So the Mirrorverse, they kind of touched on it on Next Generation, and then they really dove into it on Deep Space Nine. So then when we get to Enterprise, which was a prequel, they go really deep dive into the mirror universe to, they're trying to give the fans the things that they want. So they do the mirror universe stuff, but then Discovery went to the mirror universe and they just went way too crazy. And obviously, Michelle Yeoh's character, Philippa Georgiou, she had her doppelganger that was like this evil tyrant in the mirror universe, and then that character came over to the main Star Trek universe and all that stuff happened. So I really wanted, like I said, this thing was supposed to come out a few years ago, and then there's been writer strikes and COVID and all this other stuff, and it slowed it up. And so by the time we get it, this movie, it's a movie, but it was pitched originally as a television series. So it was going to at least be a mini series. So there were going to be multiple episodes. So then this is just a standalone movie, but it was clearly, you watch it and you can clearly say, oh, okay, this is like a backdoor pilot. They've set this movie up like a pilot. So if fans like Star Trek, Section 31, they have the option to come back and shoot more episodes and expand on it. But like I said, just looking at the reviews, it has been brutal. And even though they have done some numbers on the Paramount Plus streaming platform, especially that first day, it was like trending #1 and all this kind of stuff on the platform. So yeah, it did get watched, but the people watched it and they were like, it was horrible. And there was so many people on X just brutalizing this thing. Like I said, I really wanted to enjoy this, but I thought it was really bad. But if you watched Star Trek Section 31, I would really like to know what you guys think in the comments. We appreciate, we got so many new subscribers. Give us a like and a follow, Facebook, Instagram, X, and Threads, all at Akari Press. We're getting ready to relaunch our comic book Maven with a former WWE superstar, Maven Huffman. I'm really excited about that. We've got the pre-launch page up on Indiegogo. Go to mavenscomic.com, put your email in there. You'll know as soon as we launch, because yeah, I think that's coming up in the next few weeks. I'm really excited about it. I'm out.
God, I gotta get used to this hellfire.
Is that smoke?
No, everything's fine.
The grass isn't going to cut itself.
I know, I'm on it. I'm in my own comic book. I'm a superhero, and I still have grass to cut. You know what? Go to mavenscomic.com right now and get your very own copy. I mean, as little as $8, and guess what? You can even be drawn into the comic with me. Well, evidently, I have chores to do.